Welcome everyone to this very special video. So if you watch my videos, you know it's usually just me talking to the camera. But today I'll be doing an interview because I know someone with an experience on the subject. He's a good friend of mine. Why did I say subject? It's subject. But he's a good friend of mine. Yeah, he went through this experience where he just slept with a bunch of girls because he improved himself and it was not fulfilling to him. And that's something I feel I have responsibility to talk about on this channel. Because I'm very confident that if you follow my advice and you do the things I say, you're going to be a G. And when you're a G, women go up to you and they like you. Alright? You're going to be in a position where you can get cooch like that. And a lot of people say, oh, I made it. I made it. Once it's like that, oh, I made it. I'm going to sleep with all these chicks. Blah, 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 blah. They think that's what's going to be to fulfill them. That's their purpose of their life. That's what fulfills them. That's what they think. But the truth is, that's not what fulfills you. What fulfills you are other things. It's certainly not sleeping with a bunch of chicks and not treating intercourse as a very intimate and special experience, which has been completely ripped out of society. Intercourse is just, oh, yeah, we had fun yesterday. It's not special anymore. So, that's what we're going to talk about in this interview. Enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the interview now. I'm here with my good friend Lamarcus. Lamarcus, feel free to introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Marcus. 20 years old. Currently, I am a physical education teacher at a private school in Florida. And the main thing I've been doing for, I'd say, the past almost 2 years now, just been training in various mixed martial arts, trying to fight amateur, and then go pro sometime next year.
All right. So, today we're talking, as you know, about marriage and how sex relates to it and how we should wait. So I know you've had a lot of experience with partners. So, oh, correct, right? So first, I want to ask you, how did this all start? How did you get into this promiscuous life that you end up living, as you say yourself?
So I'd say it probably started. Um, I'd attribute it to probably when I first got into high school. In say ninth grade, that's when a big shift happened. Because before then, I had been in about a couple relationships, but obviously it was your typical middle school relationship where it wasn't anything serious, obviously. But in high schools, when I first got introduced to, I guess, sexuality being so open, uh, and then in ninth grade had some experiences that I obviously wouldn't attribute to being my first time since there was no penetration, but I did have my first time when I was 16, leading up to the summer of my senior year. Um, it was uh, a friend that I had met through friends back when I was in ninth grade, and going home for summer, we had gotten closer. Things happened, and yeah.
All right, so onto the real meat and potatoes of this. So, why do you think? So, first of all, did you feel the need to do this, or was it just a regular want for you?
Um, I mean, I'd say at the time I might have felt that it was a need. You probably felt like a need in order for me to feel like I was a man, or I was growing into becoming a man. It's something that as young boys we all not only fantasize but glorify realistically. Being able to sleep with girls and all this other bull crap, and that obviously ties into outside influences from media, the people around us, and etc. But I would definitely say that it felt like a need, but it was definitely a want of mine.
So, why do you think? Because you kind of answered this, but if you want to expand on it more, feel free to do so. Why do you feel like you had? Why do you feel like you wanted it that badly? Because you said it felt like a need to you. Why did it feel like a need?
Um, it just felt like the only way to really prove myself. Like yeah, it's very hard to explain, but as a young men, especially at the time, we deal with lust and things like that. you have your friends and all you guys talk about are girls and all this other stuff. So it just became something that impacted my life and almost took it over really.
All right. So this is a good question. I just came up with this. So, what do you think caused you to? I don't want to say the same question over again, but it's very similar. Do you think there were any? What influencers do you think caused you to feel that need, that want? Like, what things did you do or did you witness, etc., that made you feel that way?
I'd say a big one probably, especially because my use of it started heavily and when I first started high school was, the big P. I don't think I have to say it straight up, but because YouTube and stuff, but obviously, in high school that was a big thing because for me personally, I got introduced to it by some friends in French class. They said that it's a normal thing to watch and experience,
Those were
and
some bad
I
friends.
I mean, yeah, believe it or not, it was a girl who told me about it. So
What?
yeah, that ass.
Dude,
Yeah.
I actually didn't know this before recording, but that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
A
no.
girl? Dude.
Yeah, it was me, these two girls. I one was named Brianna and Kaui. Those were their names. So just had to expose them real quick. And then another guy, I can't remember his name. But yeah, we were just talking about it one day and they were talking about how they just do that and they were like, you gotta try it. And that's from then on till, I don't even know, like recently. It's been a bad thing that I struggle with. But yeah, no, I'd say going back to the question, I'd say that that's probably a big reason why I felt like I needed or wanted to have that experience.
What role do you think family plays in this situation? Now, obviously, some people may take that question in a weird way, but I'm saying as in because a lot of people they're raised in a type of family where that type of thing is unacceptable. And that's mostly girls in really conservative families, but also goes for men
Yeah.
as well. So, what role do you
Oh
think
yeah.
family played in this situation?
I mean, I grew up in a very strict and conservative household, so that was definitely one of those things in my household that was not looked highly upon. Um, but essentially, I just did it in my free time in private. And at that time, obviously, you're young, you end up having a lot more free time than you really need. So,
All right. So, how do you feel about having multiple partners? And if you could elaborate on exactly or a ballpark of how many. If you don't want to share that, that's fine. But how do you feel about the situation?
um, well, my secret number is 10, technically 11, but I say 10. Um, I would say it's just, nah, man, it's one of those things where personally, I definitely regret it. I feel as if participating in degenerate behavior like that did a lot more harm than it did good. Not only for me, but the people who I participate in those experiences with. At some point they're going to have partners, and I'm going to be a part of the reason why they might not deserve that partner or may have lost value in the eyes of that partner. And knowing that doesn't sit very well with me.
All right. So, how has it you expanded on this a little bit, but how else has it negatively affected you?
It creates a lot of self confidence issues. Um, it's hard to really focus on yourself when you're worried about, when you're gonna get your next nut off and things like that. And it also takes a lot of your time away. A lot of times you could be using to focus on chasing your purpose or or time you could spend on being with your family, or time you could spend on just helping people. Instead, you're spending that time on trying to reach and fulfill these selfish needs and just do things that are degenerate, honestly.
Do you think it has affected you in your relationships, any of your relationships, your past experiences? Do you think it has affected you negatively or positively? And expand a little bit on why.
Um, well, I'd say obviously negatively because when you go through things like that, you create these expectations in your head that some other people might not be able to fulfill. Um, and even then, it just because some of these relationships do end badly. So you may just end up with like me. I'm a very big trust person, but I have a hard time trusting people. So it creates a lot of it creates a lot of unnecessary punishment towards the partner that you may be with, or the person that you see as your forever person, because they're paying for mistakes that someone who came long before they did made. And it just doesn't do it does more harm than good, for sure.
All right, so this is a deep question. I just thought about this. So let's make sure I articulate this right. So, wow, that's rare. My goodness.
What happened?
I forgot the question.
uh,
No way. Dude, oh,
uh,
I haven't made that mistake in a very long time. Okay. It was something, okay. It was okay, here I've remembered. So, what do you think you missed out on in life? And I know you expanded on this a little bit, but more specifically, what have you missed out on in life because of these experiences you've had?
um, I'd say just being able to build like a genuine bond with, a truly deserving partner. Um, it's also put me in positions to where maybe I'm not going after the right person. Especially a lot of times in my younger life, going after people due to, how good I think they might look, or their abilities in the bedroom, whatever, just not looking for the right things in a partner.
All right. So, we're gonna expand on this. What advice would you give to someone who's looking to, sleep with a bunch of chicks? Like that's his goal. Well, what advice would you give him? And what would you tell him?
Uh, I'll tell him to keep his willy in his pants, man, because ain't nothing good's gonna come from it. Not for you and not for the person that you're doing these dirty deeds with. Honestly, you're better off just focusing on yourself, focusing on, helping those in your community. If you can't help those in your community, helping those around you, being a better friend, a better partner, a better well, probably not a partner if you don't have a relationship, but a better son, a better sibling, a lot of other things you could be doing that you should be focusing on rather than trying to chase these unnecessary feelings.
100% agree. Now, do you have any other things to add before the end of this interview?
Um, I'd say trust in God, man, turn to the Lord. That's probably the best advice I could give anyone and everyone, because in Him you'll find all the answers. Truly,
Amen. Thank you.
of course.